Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. It's time for What's in My Tumbler episode 35. So we're going to start off with Catdog on Fire. This is Cheetah Jasper Labradorite Fire Quartz. Um, was really surprised when I opened that barrel and that slurry looked really black for some reason, but it looks okay. So we're going to get these rinsed off. Again, I'm in my shower this week because it was cold outside, and I am still trying to figure out a better way to rinse in the winter when I don't have access to a hose and therefore don't want to be outside in the cold. But anyway, get these all rinsed off. They are looking really good. Bring them inside. And again, I'm burnishing in between, and then I'm also going to inspect in between each of the stages so that I can make sure that there's no breakage going on. So we're going to get these in the burnishing cycle, and then we will tumble them for a few hours and then do an inspection after that. It's better to inspect when they're thoroughly clean. That way I can really see if any grit is getting stuck in any of the crevices. So this is the stage 3 soap cycle. These are going into stage 4 this week. Very excited. That means they'll be done next week. And I can start something else. Anyway, so they look pretty good coming out of the burnishing cycle. They weren't as dirty as I thought they might be, but we'll get everything rinsed off. And then do the inspection here and make sure that I don't have any breakage going on or any grit that's being caught in any of the little cracks and crevices. Since I don't tumble my rocks until they're 100% perfectly smooth, then sometimes things get caught in little cracks. So that's what I am looking for right now. And then once all this is done, this is sped up, by the way. It just takes a long time to go through and look at every single rock in these barrels, but it's kind of necessary if you want to make sure that everything is going smoothly. I tend to sort of speed through that because I don't think anybody finds that very interesting, but if you want a more lengthy video of me actually looking and explaining what I'm seeing and what I'm looking for, I'm happy to do that. But for now, I'm just speeding through all that. So that was a tablespoon of borax, and now we're going to put 4 tablespoons of this polish. This is stage 4 aluminum oxide. Yeah, aluminum oxide polish. There's 2 types of polish that you can use. A lot of the cheaper ones will be a silicone carbide that does not give you as much of a shine as the aluminum oxide or even a cerium oxide. So if you're not getting a shine, look at the type of polish you're using, and that could actually be an issue as well. So Obsidian, for some reason there was a lot of slurry at the base of this Obsidian, and it didn't really seem to have used up the grit, and I don't know why, because this is my 3rd batch of this same Obsidian, running it exactly the same as I have done every other batch. So I don't know if maybe I didn't have as much rock in here or if something else was going on, but now I'm ready to move at least some of this Obsidian onto stage 3. So I'm going to start by just making sure all of these are ready for stage 3. They're fine. Some of them are a little lumpy bumpy, but not really anything I can do about that short of breaking them, and I don't want to do that. So I put all those back in, put in the media that I have, and then I am going to just top that up with some of the rocks from my prior batches. I'm hoping I can do the polish in 2 batches. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do this batch in stage 3, and then I'm going to switch over and do the rest of them into stage 3 so that all of my Obsidian is in stage 3, and then do 2 batches into stage 4, if that makes sense. Hopefully I can actually just kind of keep all of the Obsidian moving at the same pace and not having to take up 2 barrels to do it. It'll take a little bit longer, and there'll be two weeks of final polish Obsidian, but I think that's fine. So anyway, these are going to the burnish cycle. As I said, some of these were previously polished and some of these were from the last batch. But they all went through a final polish. You can see how dirty that was. I had a hard time actually cleaning out the barrel fully, so I really knew that these needed to go through the through the burnishing cleaning cycle. So that's why I went ahead and did that. And again, inspecting, making sure I'm not seeing any breakages. that I don't have anything that looks like it's going to cause problems later on in the tumbling. With Obsidian, you want to have a lot of cushioning anyway. That's why I have so much media. There's should be as much media as there are rocks when you're tumbling something like Obsidian. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on here. And we're going to put some water in there. It looks a little full, but that's because there's still room at the bottom where all the rocks were. So I'm not worried about how full this looks. I think it'll be totally fine. But now I'm putting in the stage 3 grit, and I actually need to order more because I'm almost out, which means more rocks. Yay. Anyway, if I'm going to pay the shipping anyway, might as well get rocks if I have to order some grit. But anyway, these are going now into stage 3 for a week, and then next week we'll do a second batch of Obsidian into stage 3. So that won't be going into stage 4 next week, but it will the week after. All right, Bahia Agates in stage 1. These are moving along, looking okay. I'm not sure what I was expecting with Bahia Agates. I'd never actually seen any up close and personal, so I wasn't prepared for how many pits and holes and quartz pockets that they have. They're pretty, but I just wasn't prepared for that. I really thought these were going to be a much faster tumble. But I was wrong, and they are actually taking quite a while. I'm actually being a little lenient because you don't want to tumble your quartz pockets out, because then you won't have the quartz. And that's part of what makes an agate kind of really pretty. So I'm having to be very selective. Some of these are just really pitted on the outside, and those I am trying to tumble out. But for the most part, I'm trying to, do what I can without having these take too terribly long. So what I did is things that need more time in stage 1 are in the barrel. Things that are ready for stage 2 are in the cup. At the end of this, I had plenty to do a stage 2 barrel. So I took out the stage 1 rocks, put them in the colander, poured the stage 2 rocks into the barrel, and then it was a little too full. It was more full than I was really wanting it to be. So I looked around on the top layer, pulled out some rocks that really could spend some more time in stage 1. Even if I had already said they were ready for stage 2, maybe they just still had some pockets and things in them. So I pulled those out and put them with the stage 1 rocks. And then when I was happy with the level of rocks in the barrel, I went ahead, and those rocks are going to be stage 1 rocks. So then I poured the last of my borax in there, then had to go find a very old box of borax we still have somewhere that's very chunky, but it'll work. And then filled that up and put these into a burnishing cycle, because those are now ready to go into stage 2. So I let those burnish for a few hours and then brought them back out. And after the few hours, poured them out. And they looked good. They weren't too bad. But I'm going to do another round of inspection here just to make sure that they aren't, carrying grit over into the next stage, because you really don't want that. So just doing an inspection here. And there's a lot of rocks in here that aren't Bahia Agates. The reddish ones that are kind of rounded, those are Bahia Agates, but I think there's also some onyx. There's definitely a piece of beryl. Maybe some other types of jaspers and things. This is really kind of a mix. I'm not entirely 100% sure what's in here at this point, but yeah, so put everything in there. I'm moving the chips along because they're ready to go. They've been ready for a while. I've just been using them for cushioning. So I'm going to move those along and then put in my scoop of borax. And this is going into stage 2. So I'm also going to put in the stage 2 grit, 4 tablespoons. Maybe I only put 3, because I also watched the Michigan Rocks video this week saying that you only need 3 tablespoons of grit. Now he did stage 1 test, but I'm just going to go with that and do 3 tablespoons. And then, so these are now going into stage 2. and moving on to the Cheetah Girls and Friends. This is also a very mixed batch of rocks. And I'm not actually sure how much of this is still Cheetah Jasper at this point. When I was going through it, I was like, maybe there's like 4 or 5 pieces of Cheetah Jasper, but this is mostly other things. So my batches are getting all mixed up, but it's okay. They're all similar hardness rocks, so not worried about it. So now we're gonna rinse, and I haven't been showing the barrel rinsing, but I do rinse the barrels out. It is needed. So here's me rinsing my barrels in case anybody was concerned that I was only rinsing the rocks and not rinsing the barrels. I do. Anyway, so sorting through these are in stage 1, so I'm inspecting to see if anything is ready for stage 2, and there really wasn't anything that was ready for stage 2, but that, there's some beryl there. I'm not sure what that is. That was a geode thing. I think that's some aventurine, amethyst. It's going so fast I can't really see. That's an agate. That's Cheetah Jasper. That's Cheetah Jasper, maybe. I can't really tell. And yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this box of rocks right here. So we're gonna just everything in here is still ready, needing more time in stage 1. So putting in the chips. I'm also gonna top that up with some more little filler chips. And then we are going to put this back into stage 1 for another week. So we're going to put in the water, and then my scoop of borax from the chunky old borax. And then I did 4 tablespoons because I have a 2 tablespoon scoop, and 3 tablespoons is hard to do with a 2 tablespoon scoop. And anyway, so get that tightened down and get these going into stage 1 for another week. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with episode 36.